In 1924, a French writer by the name of André Breton published his Surrealist Manifesto, officially bringing Dadaism to an end and Surrealism to its beginning. Breton and his cohorts sought to unleash the power of the subconscious mind, believing it held untapped creativity and truths. They aimed to bridge the gap between dreams and reality, to explore the mysterious terrain of the human psyche. As he put it, Surrealism is based on the belief in the omnipotence of dream, in the undirected play of thought. Breton had practiced many of Sigmund Freud's psychoanalytic methods when working with soldiers suffering from shell shock during World War I. Freud's interpretation of dreams was also a huge influence on the Surrealist movement as Breton began to develop the Surrealist philosophy and publicize Surrealist works. Much like its predecessor of Dadaism, Surrealism too was an anti-art movement that opposed the bourgeoisie-led rational ways of thinking. Surrealism began as a literary group that had strong ties to Dadaism, with Breton at the helm. With the collapse of the Dada art movement in the city of Paris in 1921, Breton and his followers took to redefining themselves. With artists like Giorgio de Chirico, Max Ernst, André Masson, and Man Ray, Surrealism began to take shape on the canvas after 1924. Giorgio de Chirico, an Italian artist, played a pivotal role in shaping Surrealism's visual language. In his early works, he introduced a unique blend of eerie landscapes, classical architecture, and mysterious figures. These compositions, often featuring deserted squares and elongated shadows, evoked a sense of unease and uncertainty. De Chirico's paintings were infused with a dreamlike quality, inviting viewers to question the boundaries between reality and imagination. His use of skewed perspectives and juxtaposed elements created an otherworldly atmosphere that resonated deeply with the Surrealists. Another artist, Henri Rousseau, was also responsible for giving Surrealism its look. Rousseau created vibrant and imaginative scenes that often depicted exotic landscapes and wild creatures with a naive and primitive simplicity. Rousseau's lack of formal training led to a unique, unpolished style that resonated deeply with Surrealists seeking to break free from academic constraints. The juxtaposition of his fantastical elements within the realistic framework captured the essence of the movement's desire to explore the unexpected. In literature, Breton's manifesto promoted the use of automatic writing. It was about writing without conscious control, letting words flow from the mind and onto the page. This technique was designed to access the hidden corners of the psyche, where logic and social norms give way to raw, unfiltered creativity. The technique of automatic writing was combined with the wild pairing of seemingly unrelated elements to create a sense of disorientation and surprise, or in other words, juxtaposition. Surrealist writers took juxtaposition to the extreme, forcing the reader to question reality itself. Surrealists also embraced the absurd. Dreamlike scenarios and illogical narratives were commonplace. Surrealist writers also explored the subconscious. Surrealist writers wanted to dive into the depths of their minds, revealing hidden desires, fears, and fantasies. This often led to a blending of the mundane and the fantastical, creating a sense of unreality that's both captivating and unsettling. While not explicitly a surrealist, the works of Franz Kafka, such as The Metamorphosis in 1915 and The Trial a decade later, embody many surrealist principles. Kafka's exploration of alienation, absurdity, and the inner struggles of his characters resonate deeply with the surrealist movement's focus on the human psyche. Automatic writing and bizarre, dreamlike landscapes were not solely exclusive to surrealist literature, as they were also very much present in paintings and visual arts. Artists like Salvador Dalí, René Magritte, and Max Ernst were fascinated by dreams, fantasies, and the hidden desires that shape human thought. Automatic writing on paper became automatic drawing on canvas, seeing artists let their hands move freely across the canvas, creating spontaneous and often bizarre imagery. This technique, championed by André Masson and Joan Miro, aimed to capture the unfiltered expressions of the mind. Collage was another popular method in Surrealism. Artists like Max Ernst used cutouts from various sources to create entirely new and unexpected compositions. The collision of different images gave birth to strange and intriguing narratives that defied traditional storytelling. Surrealist art also sought to break free from societal norms and constructs. This was reflected in their exploration of gender, sexuality, and the human form. Artists like Frida Kahlo, with her symbolic self-portraits, challenged conventions and delved into personal struggles, often using dreamlike symbolism to express their inner emotions. Born in 1904 in the picturesque Catalan town of Figueres, Spain, Salvador Dalí was destined to become one of the most iconic artists of the 20th century. From a young age, Dalí exhibited an insatiable curiosity and an innate talent for art. He studied at the Royal Academy of Fine Arts of San Fernando in Madrid, where he quickly established himself as a burgeoning artistic force. Dalí's early works were influenced by Impressionism and Cubism, but his relentless desire to stand out led him to explore the avant-garde surrealist movement. He quickly aligned himself with the likes of André Breton and embarked on a journey that would forever alter the course of art history. Dalí, with his wild imagination and unconventional approach, was the embodiment of Surrealism's ideas. His famous work, The Persistence of Memory, created in 1931, perfectly encapsulates the surrealist fascination with the dream world. In this painting, drooping clocks drape over various objects like the branches of a melting tree, challenging our understanding of time and reality. Another prime example of Dalí's surrealist mastery is The Elephants, a painting that showcases elongated, spindly-legged elephants carrying obelisks on their backs. This enigmatic image hints at themes of memory, strength, and the subconscious, themes that were central to Surrealism. Dalí's fascination with the subconscious mind led him to experiment with a technique called the paranoid critical method. This method involved tapping into the irrational aspects of the mind to create art that was both dreamlike and startlingly real. Take, for example, his 1955 painting, The Sacrament of the Last Supper, which reimagines the traditional biblical scene with a Dalí twist. Jesus and his disciples are portrayed in a cavernous, distorted space, blending the sacred with the surreal in a way that challenges traditional perceptions. Frida Kahlo is another notable surrealist artist who combined the genre with influences of Mexican folk art. Born on July 6, 1907, in Coyoacán, Mexico, Frida's life was marked by both triumphs and tribulations. At the age of 6, she contracted polio, which left her with a limp. This setback, however, did not deter her spirited personality. Frida's life took a dramatic turn at the age of 18 when she was involved in a horrific bus accident. The accident left her with multiple fractures, including a broken spine, pelvis, and collarbone. During her recovery, Kahlo turned to art as a means of self-expression, painting while bedridden. This marked the beginning of her artistic journey and her transformation into a surrealist icon. While Frida's work often embodies surrealist themes, she resisted being labeled as a surrealist. In her own words, "They thought I was a surrealist, but I wasn't. I never painted dreams. I painted my own reality." Nonetheless, her unique blend of reality and dreamscapes aligns with the movement's ideals. In The Two Fridas, painted in 1939 after a divorce, she presents two versions of herself, one in traditional Mexican attire, the other in European clothing. This duality represents a reflection of her mixed Mexican, German, and indigenous heritage and internal struggles of womanhood and her physical pain. Another notable example is The Broken Column from 1944. This painting portrays Frida's body split open, revealing a shattered column beneath her skin. Her body is pierced with nails, reflecting the physical and emotional pain she endured throughout her life. This work serves as an allegory for her suffering and the emotional columns that support her. Kahlo's impact extended beyond her lifetime. She set a precedent for artists, especially female artists, to create art unapologetically and authentically. Her ability to fuse personal experience with universal themes allowed her work to transcend borders and resonate with people worldwide. In a genre largely dominated by male artists, she carved her own path. As the feminist movement gained momentum later in the 20th century, Kahlo's works became emblematic of the struggle for gender equality and women's empowerment. Photography and film became important mediums in surrealist art. Photography made creating uncanny imagery much easier, and cinema afforded artists and writers more opportunity to create the bizarre or unusual compared to traditional theater. One iconic surrealist photographer was Man Ray, whose works like The Enigma of Isidore Ducasse blurred the line between reality and illusion. By manipulating negatives and exposing them to unconventional light sources, Man Ray created mysterious, distorted compositions that invited viewers to question reality itself. Another influential surrealist photographer was Dora Maar. Her portrait of Ubu was named after Alfred Jarry's 1896 play Ubu Roy, telling the story of a fat, greedy fool ruled by temper tantrums. Maar transformed her subject, a baby armadillo, into a monster. Maar's photo montages and double exposures distorted human forms, embodying the surrealist obsession with the uncanny and the irrational. Surrealist cinema saw filmmaker Luis Buñuel collaborate with Salvador Dalí on the groundbreaking short film Un Chien Andalou. This film's iconic opening scene, where a razor blade slices through an eyeball, jolted audiences into a realm of subconscious associations and unsettling imagery. The film's disjointed narrative and shocking imagery aim to bypass logical thinking and speak directly to the viewer's subconscious mind. Just as dreams defy rational explanation, Un Chien Andalou disrupted traditional storytelling, inviting audiences to explore their own internal landscapes. Surrealism's influence on cinema continued to flourish with Luis Buñuel's 1963 film The Exterminating Angel, where bourgeois guests find themselves unable to leave a dinner party, leading to a nightmarish and absurd exploration of social norms and psychological boundaries. René Clair's Entr'acte offered a whimsical and unconventional experience by employing experimental techniques, including slow-motion shots and surprising visual juxtapositions, all contributing to the surrealist exploration of reality's fragility. Surrealism was primarily based in Paris up until the 1930s, when British artists began to pick up on the movement. British surrealism wasn't just a carbon copy of the French movement. It had its own flavor, a mix of traditional British wit and an inclination towards the macabre. British surrealists used their art to explore the subconscious, but they often injected a dose of dry humor into their work. One of the key figures in British surrealism was Eileen Agar. She was known for her innovative use of materials and techniques. Agar's works often combined everyday objects with unexpected elements, creating a visual juxtaposition that challenged viewers' perceptions of reality. Lenora Carrington's work explored themes of transformation, mythology, and female identity. Her paintings often featured fantastical creatures and mythical landscapes, creating a dreamlike realm that blurred the lines between reality and imagination. Edward Burrough often reflected the unease and disquiet of the world around him in his works. Burrough's paintings showcased distorted figures and scenes, capturing the surreal qualities of turbulent times. As its golden age persisted throughout the 1920s and 30s, surrealism was increasingly marked by clashes of ideologies and personalities. André Breton, the movement's self-proclaimed leader, held tight reins on what he considered true surrealism. Breton often tried to assert that surrealism was inherently political, always trying to tie the movement to communism. This led to conflicts and schisms between surrealists who advocated for political activity and surrealists who focused more on the commercial and artistic path. The late 1930s brought with them the ominous clouds of political and social upheaval. World War II loomed on the horizon, and artists found themselves facing a dilemma: how to reconcile and preserve their dreamscape explorations under the harsh realities of a world at war. Many surrealists fled to the United States, where they continued their artistic pursuits. With the end of World War II in 1945, the world was left in ruins, and so was the Surrealist movement. The post-war era ushered in a sense of ambiguity and disillusionment, mirroring the aftermath of World War I. Artists across all movements were left grappling with questions of identity, purpose, and the role of art in a rapidly changing world. Additionally, the rise of abstract expressionism in the United States shifted the focus of the art world, diverting attention away from the Surrealist movement.